GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from high school.
Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Let's go live to the stadium in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Sorry, a little late start, a little technical difficulty going on here, but that's what happens when you deal with all sorts of different random equipment. But nonetheless, we are live from the Stadium Lodge, Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, and we are going to roll into our first guest this morning. And joining me on the line is the new head golf coach at the University of Mary, Leif Olson. And boy, I tell you what, at this guy's age, never did I thought I would put head coach in front of this guy's name. But Leif, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm good, Scott. I never thought I'd put head coach in front of my name either, but I'm excited to be involved at the University of Mary.
Hey, Leif, first and foremost, congratulations, man. I've known you for a number of years. I think it's fabulous. I think that Dale Lennon and the folks out there got a good one. I mean, but Leif, take me through the process, man. I mean, when did you start thinking about this? How did all of this come about for you to accept the job? Now, I know that you're ending one portion of your career, and congratulations to you. That had a lot to do with it, I'm sure. But tell the folks how this whole thing developed.
Well, after 35 years of being an insurance agent in Bismarck, I'm retiring on May 1st, so I was looking for something else to do, and on a part-time basis, and maybe a couple part-time jobs, and I kind of wanted to be, something kind of meaningful that I think I would enjoy, and a friend of mine showed me that there was an opening for a golf coach at the University of Mary, and another good friend of mine, Tim Doppler at Riverwood, actually contacted the folks at U of Mary and kind of got this going. And I was, and I thank Tim for doing that. I was then contacted by Dale Lennon, the athletic director at U of Mary, as you know, Wood. And I went and I visited with Dale. I was really impressed with his commitment to the University of Mary and his commitment to the golf program, which is really new at the U of Mary. I went out there and I visited with all kinds of folks out there. Jerome Richter, the vice president, Monsignor Shea, very impressive people, and they're really dedicated to the students and faculty and coaches at the University of Mary. So I was thrilled that I got the job, and I'm excited to see where this takes me.
Well, and just to let you know, Leif, is that we're going to have Jerome Richter on this morning too, and you are ahead of Jerome Richter in the list category.
That'll be the only time, Wood, right there.
Hey, Leif, and certainly you take the job. You have the conversation with Dale, and looking at the press release, and I think he's got it right. I mean, just what you've done in your time in the capital city and what you've dedicated and given to the game of golf, I think it's a great fit in what you have. And I guess the one thing, I'll say, we'll get into some of what you have right now, Leif, but I'm sure one of the uncharted territories for you, will be the recruiting trail. I mean, obviously that's something that's new for you. I mean, not having been in that realm, but I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is going to be new, and I've gotten some of the other coaches, the head coach at Bemidji State, the head coach at Winona in Minnesota, both reach out to me and introduce themselves, welcome me to the Northern Sun Conference, and have said they'll do whatever they can to help me. And one of the things they talked about was recruiting. And also another coach in the golf program, Marion Hernandez at the University of Mary, has been there for a year, and he's done some of the recruiting. Marion's been a huge help in this transition of me becoming a coach. So I'm going to introduce myself to the local high school coaches all across North Dakota, maybe reach out to some folks in South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and and just try to explain to them what we're trying to do at the University of Mary in Bismarck. So I'm
Yeah,
excited for that too.
and Leif, so you take the job. You cross the I's and dot the T's, and then now you got to get deep into it. And we're, as you and I sit and talk today, I mean, how has the process been for you? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of learning curves for you getting into the collegiate side of things and the do's and the don'ts, and we can do this, we can't do that, and the travel and all that stuff. But how's the process been to this day so far for you, Leif?
It's been great. Like I said, Marion Hernandez has been a huge help. And also, a lot of help has been with Cassandra Johnson, the team captain of the girls' team. She's from Fargo-Shanley. She's a Moorhead kid that went to Fargo-Shanley. And she's a senior. And then a junior from Billings, Montana, Cody Bruner. He's the captain of the men's team. And they truly are captains. The kids, the younger kids, the rest of the kids are pretty young, freshmen and sophomores. And the kids look up to them for leadership and guidance. And those two captains are willing and able to lead the way. And it's been great having them help me get connected with these kids. So, and I've spoke with friends of mine who are coaches, and they say, two good team captains are a good start to any sports program, and we certainly have that. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah, no question about it, and certainly not a bad way to start the spring golf schedule, Leif. A little trip to Las Vegas, huh, for a couple of days,
right,
huh?
Scott. Yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, we never had that in the insurance industry, I'll guarantee you that. But we're gonna go to Las Vegas on Saturday, March 5th. We'll have a practice round on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday is competition in a 2-day tournament. Wednesday we'll have a practice round at another golf course. Thursday and Friday is another 2-day tournament. We're taking 5 on the men's team, 5 on the women's team. A lot of the teams that are going to be there are Northern Sun teams. They'll be in the same boat that we have, with no outdoor golf whatsoever. We're actually at the I'm outside Golf Etc. right now, and the kids are inside practicing on the simulators at Golf Etc. The folks at Golf Etc. have been great. The folks at the Park and Rec with the Golf Dome have been fantastic. And that's where we practice, is the Golf Dome and Golf Etc. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays, they go to strength training, men's team and women's team at 6 in the morning. Those 2 days. So it's a big commitment for these kids. They seem to handle it well. They balance it well with their studies. I think they're good students. They're smart kids. They're going into difficult studies with engineering and psychology and mathematics and all kinds of stuff like that. So we got smart kids out here for sure.
Yeah, we're talking with Leif Olson, the new head golf coach at the University of Marion. Leif, just got a couple of minutes left with you, and you talk about, looking at, first of all, that men's team, a young team. I mean, a guy that a lot of folks know, Gavin Argent from Minot, Logan Barrett from Bismarck High. You talked about Cody Bruner. A young man from Big Lake, Minnesota, Jackson Gilchrist, know that name from St. Mary's High School. Bennett Pursoon, I do believe, from West Fargo Cheyenne.
Right, that's right, Wood.
And Alex Wilson from St. Mary's. So, as you said, Leif, a young team, but nonetheless, when you have a young team, you can get your hands on them early, and that's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah, I hope we have all these young guys for all 4 years. Gavin's the state high school champ. He won the state high school at Hawktree last spring in a playoff. Gavin shot a 69 last fall at Hawktree, which is the university men's record for a one-day score. Bennett was part of the West Fargo Cheyenne State High School team. He was their number one man there. And these kids are athletic. They were in, a lot of them were basketball players growing up. They're athletic kids. They're competitive. And what I've seen from them so far in the golf simulator and the Golf Dome, they hit the golf ball long ways. They seem good all around the game. And the women do too. I think we've got talented kids that are ready to compete. We've got a goal for both teams of trying to place 5th in the conference tournament later this spring, which will be in Missouri. And 5th would be a good outing for us if we could place that high. So we're just hoping to get the program going and move ahead and be competitive, and enjoy playing golf. So.
Yeah, well, certainly, Leif, exciting. I know a lot of guys are excited for you. It's going to be fun, and I know we'll follow this through and through. And I know you're just getting your feet wet, but, hey, how about we do this? How about when you get going into the season, maybe we get you on the phone from Las Vegas or wherever the hell you're at. And we'll talk more as you get more into the season, all right?
Sounds good, Scott.
All right, Leif. Hey, man, appreciate the time, buddy. Take care. Have a good weekend, and best of luck. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Thanks, Scotty. All right.
All right, buddy.
Good enough.
Take care. Leif Olson, new head golf coach out at the University of Mary as they start their season first part of March with a tournament down in Las Vegas. We'll take a time out here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we're going to talk with Jerome Richter as a big announcement coming out of the University of Mary on the capital campaign. Well, a lot of that will have to do with some athletics out there. So we'll talk more with Jerome Richter, and we come back with more on Overtime after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full service stadium and Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck. Hey, if you're looking for a place to, settle in and have some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home here this afternoon, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, earlier this month, out at the University of Mary, some exciting news coming out of there, as they've announced on their new capital campaign, Vision 2030 capital campaign, a nice gift from the Harold Ham Foundation and Continental Resources, $12 million donation. And joining me right now to talk about that from the University of Mary is Jerome Richter. Jerome, good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Scott. Hey, thanks for having us on. It's exciting to be with you.
Yeah, always a pleasure. And, Jerome, I got to tell you, I just had, before I talked to you, I had your new golf coach on, Leif Olson. I said, Leif, we got Jerome Richter on, too. I said, this will probably be the only time you'll ever go ahead of Jerome Richter in anything you do at the University of Mary.
Leif is a very, very good man, and I guarantee you this: if he plays golf with me, he's going to go ahead of me every time.
Well, certainly. Well, Jerome, earlier this month, some exciting news coming out of the University of Mary having to do with Continental Resources and the University of Mary. You announced a $12 million philanthropic gift from Harold Hamm and Capital Resources. I mean, just talk about that day and the excitement that came across the University of Mary campus, and for that matter, the communities of Bismarck and Mandan.
Well, Scott, it's a wonderful gift that changes everything for us. And what the gift is for is $10 million from the Harold Hamm Foundation goes to the naming of the School of Engineering, and the other $2 million from Continental Resources endows the chair for engineering, which gives us, extra bandwidth in that area. Now, because of that gift, it gives us the ability to launch phase 2 of our Vision 2030 campaign. And so since 2015, we've been in Vision 2030, which is our campaign. The first phase, we raised over $100 million. That gave us the field house and then the University Center, Roars Hall, and all kinds of other things. But now with this gift, it propels us to then take on phase 2, which is the School of Health Science, the School of Engineering, and then the two things that really are exciting is a welcome center for all people coming onto campus, especially new prospective students. And then what most interests the people today probably is our athletic facilities and the master landscaping plan.
Yeah, and I guess, Jerome, let's touch on that. I mean, obviously, we're talking athletics here today, and certainly taking nothing away from, the School of Engineering and the Welcome Center, and it's going to be amazing. But just getting out on that campus, I mean, it's unbelievable. Having lived here my whole life, just seeing the changes that have come out there. But why don't you touch a little bit more on what this phase 2 is going to do for you and the folks, and particularly the athletic people out at the University of Mary?
Well, the main thing that it's going to do is it's going to bring all of our sports back home, except golf. We're not going to put an 18-hole golf course up there anytime soon, and we're not going to build an ice rink anytime soon. We're very happy with Starion Complex, but all of the outdoor sports, our football, our soccer, our softball, our baseball, and it's not because we haven't had a great experience in the Bismarck Mandan community playing there, but it's the best thing for the university. It's the best thing for our scholar athletes. It's the best thing for our students. And so to have that college game day feel, to have 1,500 kids who live on campus be able to roll out of bed, go tailgate, and then cheer on the Marauders is something super exciting. But to do that, you don't do it one domino at a time. You got to put about 10, 15 of them in place.
Yep.
And then when you trip that first one, everything has to be able to go, because to build the stadium that we're looking for, we also have to be ready to add on the research pavilion, which we want to have connected to the stadium. And then we got to do a bunch of earthwork to literally reshape campus into how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, I mean, I think it's exciting. I know, obviously, the football team, for example, playing up at the Bowl, and certainly when you look at that, and I think that, Jerome, I think that on-campus experience, like you talked about, where these kids, and literally you weren't far off saying, just roll right out of bed, throw on some sweats or jeans, and head to the tailgate lot. That brings a lot more atmosphere and a lot more energy back to the campus, does it not?
Absolutely. Not only does it bring the energy and the excitement and the first fans, our students, to the games and make it easy for them, it also gets all those people out to campus to see what we've done, which you've been able to kind of witness firsthand.
Yep.
But, to get alumni back on campus that haven't been there for 20 years and to see what we're up to and to see that we have a world-class education right here in Bismarck Mandan, that we are being successful at some of the highest levels. I mean, NCAA Division II is no small peanuts, especially when you have a Luke Little and a Danny Kittner that have NFL scouts and hounding them like crazy.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to get a chance to talk to Craig Bagnell later. So I'm glad you gave me that little bit of information. But when you talk, particularly when you look at this, Jerome, I mean, I use the reference of, because I remember those days of having some friends that went to the University of Mary and being out there and looking out towards the south and just seeing everybody conglomerate for a football game. But I mean, when you talk about particularly, I'll just touch on the football stadium because I know exactly where that's at. I know where the baseball field is, and I do know but all of that is going to be incorporated into this the existing stuff right there, correct?
Exactly. What we're going to do, if you drive out there today, Scott,
yep,
you'll see the field house. And imagine exactly east of the field house will be the stadium field for soccer, for football, etc. Right now, the field is about half of it is south of the field house. And so we literally have to move it about 100 yards north and then go into the hill there by Boyle Hall. And then the baseball and softball field will be south of that with a practice field in between. And so there's a north practice field now that will be eliminated. We shift the game day field and then put in the others just south of it. And we've been planning this for about 3 years now. And so we've had some landscape architects that have plotted it all out for us.
And we're talking with Jerome Richter from the University of Mary. And Jerome, the other thing is, obviously, I'm guessing there's going to be these are going to be turf facilities, because that seems to be the thing nowadays. And when you look at as far as a capacity for, in particular, the football stadium, what kind of a capacity are you going to be able to hold in that football stadium?
We're not 100% sure, Scott. It's a great question. Other people have asked it, but we know that we're not going to overbuild it.
Right.
We want it to be intimate. We want it to have the ability to expand, and so I would guess somewhere around the 3,500 would be seating in stadium. But then at the same time, on the north side, you'll have a berm, a dirt berm kind of hill where people can go sit out there as well. And so if we ever have, the big exciting playoff game, we can have 4,000 or 5,000 people and still be able to seat them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very exciting.
It sure is. And the other thing, Jerome, that really stands out here to me is something that an air dome. Tell the folks about what we're talking about with this air dome.
Well, the great plan, again, all of this hinges, right, Scott, and I'm going to say it very honestly, this all hinges on the dear Lord blessing us as he has in the past. Yep. This isn't inevitable that this is going to happen. We need some donors to step up. We need some prayers answered and to make this happen. But if it all comes true, what you'll have the field house, which will be right next to the research pavilion, which will be the backside of the stadium. And then you can connect it right through and then put an air dome out on the field, which will be turf, as you mentioned. And so now throughout all of these cold winter months, we'll have a whole air dome, a whole football field to be able to practice for our student athletes to practice in, but also for all of our extra different activities that all the kids can be able to enjoy.
Yeah, as we're talking again with Jerome Richter, Executive Vice President of the University of Mary. And, Jerome, the one question that really comes to mind when you talk about and you look from an athletic side and when you're out recruiting and whether it's football, baseball, softball, basketball, golf, and, like everybody, you kind of get, well, gosh, why do I want to go to Bismarck, North Dakota? And Jerome, I think it's fair to say that yeah, it's cold here. Everybody knows that. But when guys are able to do the things that you have been doing and adding these new facilities in, sometimes facilities sells kids to come to a school. Is that a fair statement?
Well, absolutely it is. But naturally, Scott, it's the whole package.
Yeah.
It has to be everything. And
Yep.
That's why you got to have the best of mission. You got to have the best of personnel. You have to have the best of the coaches. But most importantly, it's that we're doing what it is that we promise to do, which is forming these young people to be the best person that they can be. And then naturally the facilities should match up your desire, right? If you believe in them and you want to form them, then you should invest them in as well.
Yeah, no, certainly, and you certainly have done that. Great, and Jerome, with this, we've got a few minutes left with you here. I guess we've got this this nice donation from Continental. Obviously this is a process that's been ongoing, but as far as, let's talk about the moving of earth and doing all that, what is there a projected date on that?
Well, here's what we've put on paper. And so we launched phase 2 in February of 2022. We're right here.
Yep.
So we just launched it. We're hoping to end the campaign, the raising of the funds, by December of 2025.
Okay.
Right. So about a 3-year campaign, a little bit more. Now, to get all of this done is going to have to take a longer time frame than that, because I don't have the money today. And even if we started today, it would probably go past December 2025.
Right.
But I would say the earliest that you'd see shovels in the ground, earth movers going around, would probably be the spring of 2023. when it comes to the master landscaping and the athletic plan.
Sure.
And so, again, hopefully everybody's saying their prayers, and we'll keep working hard to get it moving. And then I would say it's going to be a good 2-year process. And so maybe fall of 2025, you could be out there announcing the first home game for the Marauders.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, certainly it's exciting times. And I think, like I said, Jerome, I think it's from being, like I said, from growing up here my whole life and just seeing what the University of Mary has evolved into, I think hats off to you and all those people involved, and Dale and just all your staff on it's just a great job that you guys have done and able to do this and make that university what it is from an athletic standpoint, a school standpoint, and certainly hats off to what you guys have done.
Scott, thank you so much. And let's never forget that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And so we can't thank our sisters enough.
Absolutely.
Our founders and our sponsors, for Sister Thomas and the great leadership that we have. And now here we have Monsignor, who is an exceptional man, one of a kind in our region, leading us to a whole nother level.
And I'd be remiss, as you said, to forget Monsignor. I know he's been a big charge of this, as have you. But, hey, keep up the great work, Jerome. Safe travels back to Bismarck, Mandan. And, hey, well, let's do it again sometime, all right?
Scott, it's great being with you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you cheering for us.
You got it, buddy. Take care. Jerome Richter, Executive Vice President of the University of Mary. As there you have it, Phase 2 of Vision 2030 Capital Campaign, 3-year endeavor. So certainly lots of exciting things happening out at the University of Mary. Well, again, we apologize this morning for the late start we got, but we did have some technical difficulties, and those are things that you have in this business. But we are live and we are rolling. We'll try to pass some scores on to you as we move through the show. But nonetheless, glad to have you aboard this morning on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We'll take another time out. We come back. We're going to talk with the head coach of the Powers Lake Ranchers boys basketball team, Jordan Carlson. Back with more after this time out on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes? I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom? I think your quash litter valve's stuck. Do you even have insurance? If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
At Shots Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Shots Crossroads. Don't forget the ranch.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network for overtime. Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard here on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge in Northwest Bismarck on this Saturday morning. If you're looking for a place to have some lunch, hey, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here today. As we roll into the hardwood, and joining me on the line right now is the head coach of the Powers Lake Ranchers boys basketball team in his 13th year at the helm, Jordan Carlson. Jordan, good morning. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Well, things are good, and I guess, Jordan, first and foremost, congratulations on the great start, but we all know that there's a lot more basketball left to be played, and the important portion of basketball is just right around the corner for you and your guys.
Yeah, it's been a good first half, 2/3 of the season. Guys have been playing hard and everything, but like you said, getting close to tournament time last week, a regular season winding down, so looking to be playing our best basketball by the end of the season here.
Wow, again, and you know what? I think that's a standard line for every basketball coach in the state of North Dakota, for that matter, the country. And I say that, Jordan, because I talked to every West Region coach on the Class A side, and they say, yeah, you know what? Hey, we're okay in January or end of December, January. It's like we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of February. Well, that statement holds true in a number of different ways across the state.
For sure. You're kind of all season, you're kind of trying to find your ways, your best, I guess what you're doing best and whatnot, and just, trying to put it all together by the end of season tournament time.
Jordan, go back to the start of this season, back early December, and you look at what you had coming back, and, you've had just 2 seniors on this team, so certainly a young team can be really exciting for this coach. And, I guess, going back to then when you started the season, Jordan, did you know that these kids were capable of the success that you've had so far to this point in the season?
No, we really didn't know what we had coming into the season. The 2 seniors we got to come out, Tyler and Kane, hadn't played for the last quite a few years, just a lot of convincing. Graduated 5 seniors last year, 3 of them being 4-year starters. Tyson Angett being our only starter coming back. Really didn't know what we had. We just got a real good group of kids. They work hard, they bought into the system, and defensively, it's kind of been our thing to start the season. Offensively, we're still trying to figure it out, but they're a real good group of kids and they work real hard.
And when you talk about offensively trying to figure out when folks get a chance or if they get a chance to watch your team play, I mean, what kind of style of basketball are they going to see the Ranchers play when they get on the floor?
We try to transition a lot. Tyson, Angut, Grayson Schroeder, and Luke, our three guards are probably our strong point. Try to get up and down the floor, transition a lot, up tempo, kind of get easy buckets, and then sit down, dig deep defensively. Our posts are working real hard. There's a work in progress and improving each game. And, I guess that's what you're going to see with us.
Yeah, and certainly just 3 games coming up for you. Glenburn, game with Divide County and Partial, 2 on the road, 1 at home. And you talked about defensively. I guess as we said at this stage of the year, Jordan, I mean, is that the place where this team's got to continue to get better as you get into tournament time?
For sure. It's just our presence defensively all in all. Like I said, a lot of it's just our in the paint defense. We got to be really sound, really consistent defensively. Offense has been super up and down, but if we can stay consistent, dig deep defensively, I mean that's going to be what gets us through.
Well, yeah, and last year, you're coming off a 22-4 season. You win the district, you win the region, and you get to the state tournament. And I'm sure that when you started this season, when you look at, you're not sure what you're coming back. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal, is to be one of the final 8. I mean, was that one of the goals that these kids set at the start of the season?
It is. This junior group, has been with us. Grayson and Tyson seen quite a bit of playing minutes as 8th graders, and that was our first run we went to state. And they kind of got a taste of it there, and kind of just set the bar high, and everyone just kind of followed with it.
Yeah, and certainly, I mean, you guys you have number 5 in the state. I'm guessing, right, Jordan? You guys don't pay any attention to that stuff.
You try not to, but you notice it a little bit.
Well, I mean, certainly. I mean, and how things are changing. We see the landscape. Last night, Flasher team right ahead of you got knocked off by Shiloh, and you guys are in at 5. But boy, when you look at some of those teams that are in that Class B basketball pool, I'll tell you what, that's going to be a fun state tournament to be a part of, and hopefully you guys can come out of that region again and make another trip.
Yeah, there's some real good teams. The top 10, 12 teams in the state are some really good talent. So, yeah, hopefully we get a shot.
Well, yeah, and it all comes up. And Jordan, I got to get your thoughts on I know, like, down in this area, they have made the change to go to they've eliminated – what I'm trying to say, they've eliminated the district tournaments. And they've gone to the Region 5. And I know you guys up there are still one of those regions that play the district tournament. You, as long as you've been doing this, and from your perspective as a coach, I mean, are you a fan of do you like the 2 district tournaments, or would you like to see that region develop into a 1 region tournament?
I kind of like the district regional tournament. I don't know that either way is better, but there's a lot of schools that are super small up here that they don't see more than a district tournament. So I think for our area it fits us well.
Yeah, and two, I think the argument comes is that it really, if you come out of the last game of the season and then all of a sudden you're looking at now we're in a one and done situation, and right. you go into a district tournament and it gives you those extra games maybe to do some things as you prepared, hopefully to get into that region tournament. And I guess probably it's a fair argument.
For sure. Say you're super top heavy, and you end up matching up with someone semifinals, something get knocked off. And like you said, you're one and done that district, you kind of get a chance to redeem yourself if something like that happens.
Yeah, well, certainly Powers Lake, certainly obviously the favorite again up there in Region 8. You like having the target on your back?
Well, you get everyone's best shot. So, yeah, I guess it's good. It's credit to the boys and, hard they work all season and whatnot. So it's definitely a compliment to the boys.
Yeah, and you talked about the 2 young guys that really come to mind that you mentioned on this team. And those are a couple guys that have had some success on the football field as well. And I'm guessing those two guys, even though they're juniors, when I talk about Inget and Grayson, those guys got to be your leaders, and that success can kind of fall over into the basketball season as well that they've had on the football field, amongst others as well, I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's, all of our kids up here, are 3 and 4 sport athletes. They just, work hard every day, and, just once one sport ends, next one comes, and they take care of business. They do a real good job of leading the team.
Yeah, well, the next matchup coming up next week against Glenburn, Jordan. Well, good luck with that one. Appreciate your time this morning. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and good luck, and hopefully we'll be able to see you guys up in Minot here in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got it. Jordan Carlson, the head coach of the Powers Lake Ranchers boys basketball team, as they continue to roll in the state of North Dakota, as they are ranked number 5 in the state of North Dakota in the most recent Class B boys basketball poll. And we can run through that for you since we talked a little bit about it. Four Winds Minnewacan in at 1, Kindred in at 2, Ellendale in at 3, Flasher at 4. Flasher got upended last night to Shiloh. And Powers Lake at 5, Enderlin at 6, North Border 7, Central Cass 8, Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion at 9, and Shiloh and Thompson tied at 10. A big win for Shiloh last night. That'll probably move them up. And then receiving votes was Beulah, North Star, and Surrey. That is on the boys' side. We take a look at the girls' poll. Kindred leading the way there, followed by Four Winds Minnewacan. They've been 1-2 most of the way. Garrison, they're in at 3. They took a tough loss on Thursday to Shiloh. Central Cass at 4, Grafton at 5, Thompson at 6, Edgeley, Call, Montpelier at 7, Langdon, Edmore, Munich at 8, Rugby at 9, Linton, HMB in at 10, and then others receiving votes, Hatton, Northwood, Shiloh, Christian. They'll probably jump into that poll now. Glenullen, Hebron, and our Redeemers receiving votes on that side of the coin. So there's your up-to-date Class B side of things. As we continue to roll on here on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, we'll take a timeout. We come back. We'll go to the Frozen Pond. We'll talk with the head coach of the Bismarck Blizzards, Tim Meyer, back with more after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Memories never fade, especially from a high school rivalry game. Hi, I'm Brock Shook with First Western Bank and Trust. Throughout school sports history, the familiar names and faces may change, but legacies live on, achievements remembered. As your community bank, First Western Bank and Trust celebrates your victories with you. We want to wish all the local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this season. Be safe on the court, field, rink, and in the gym. First Western Bank and Trust. You can bank on us. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You remember where this goes? I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom? I think your quash litter valve's stuck. Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Oh, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network as we roll into the 11 o'clock hour. Hey, if you're looking for some place to go today to have some lunch, watch the Phoenix Open. We'll make our little college basketball, make the Stadium Lodge your home as the NCAA tournament looms, and the Stadium Lodge will be your home this afternoon up here in Northwest Bismarck. Well, we go from the hardwood to the frozen pond as the hockey season starts to wind down. End of the month, state hockey tournament. It seems like these winter sports just started, and joining me right now on the line is the head coach of the Bismarck Blizzard, Tim Meyer. Timmy, good morning. How are you this morning, man? Hello, did we have you?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Well, see, if I'd pressed the right buttons, we'd have been able to hear you. But hey, Timmy, first and foremost, thanks for joining me this morning. And boy, I tell you what, it certainly seems like this run just started a couple weeks ago. But here we are on Saturday, February the 12th, and boy, just a handful of games. Not even a handful of games left for you guys, and a season's gone fast. And maybe talk about what you've seen from your team as we get to this point of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. The season has gone really fast, and it feels like we have a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time. But
that's not good.
It's been a lot of fun again. Another good year, another great group of kids, and so really excited for this finish here. We got ourselves in a good position, I feel, right now, and so it's all kind of about preparing ourselves for that 3-game season at the end.
Yeah, it is. I mean, right now you're 10-3, 5-1, and you go down and you look at some of the losses you've had. I mean, Timmy, and certainly obviously you won early on to Fargo Davies, the team that's undefeated, a good team there at 6-2. Then War Road, and then another Minnesota team, and then Fargo North South in an overtime game, but. Then you've won your last 3, but certainly you can't say that your girls have not been tested this year.
Oh, certainly not. There's a lot of parity in the league, and as many fans enjoy the overtimes and the shootouts, I would prefer to not be in so many of them, but it really shows just how competitive the league is. But, we've learned a lot from those battles, and it's one of those that we can kind of put that in our back pocket when we get to that state tournament.
Yeah, but you talk about, you're right, you talk about those shootout wins. I mean, you've been in 4 of them this year, and like you said, probably maybe, what is it, 2 too many or 3 too many shootout wins, Tim?
Yeah, a couple extra gray hairs or a few less hairs all in general here for me, but it's a lot of fun to see as far as the sport goes. But those are some of those battles that we would like to be able to put a couple more goals in early and not have ourselves have to fight through that. But it's one of those that you have that experience of kind of learning how to play in tight games, and you hope that kind of gives you some of that little extra edge when you get to the tournament when everything tightens up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, Tim. Obviously you don't want to play in those kind of games, but I think what that does, particularly the one you had early on with a pretty good West Fargo team, and you win that one 3-2, and then you turn around and you beat South 6-5, but that was back in December. But then you got one at Mandan, Jamestown, and then West Fargo again. So I think those are the kind of games, really, as you see, will really battle test your girls and show the fight that they're in for, particularly this time of the year, knowing that basically you've got 3 games that are really going to matter coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree. We have a big one this afternoon that's, it puts us right on that line for, are we going to be a 2 or a 3 seed? I'd say that the one's going to be a little bit tough with Davies, and I think they may have solidified that one, but yeah, being in all these tight games, I think really develops a lot of character for kids, because it's easy to play in a game where you're up 7 or you're up by, or you're down by 7. Either one of those scenarios, really, you don't have to really test yourself very much. But when you're in a 1-1 game, a 2-2 game, that really makes the kids have to step up and, be their best.
Yeah, and we're talking with Tim Meyer, the head coach of the Blizzard, and Tim, when you look at how the girls' side of thing fares from the boys' side of thing, I mean, I guess I've never really asked you this question, and obviously the boys they've got an East and they've got a West, the region tournament, so they get a couple extra games in there before that state tournament. You guys, you're on a statewide schedule. I guess my first question to you is do you like the statewide schedule? And the next thing is, and it's probably tougher to do, or would you rather see some sort of region tournament formed? But yet, with that being said, maybe you can't do that on the girls' side.
Yeah, I really do. That coming from the boys and moving over to the girls, you really do start to see how important every single game is when you're playing. Coaching boys, you can have some losses throughout the regular season that might not impact you so much, because you can always rely on that West Region tournament and showing up and making your way to state. In girls, every game is so important, because every one of those points really is going to matter as far as seeding goes. If I had a preference, honestly, I really do like the statewide type of an event, because you have to play the best teams, and all of those games are going to actually count as far as points go. So, if you saw that on the boys' side of things, you would see an entirely different seeding going on across the state. And that's what you see with girls hockey. And as far as the parity goes, everybody understands how important every single game is. And so every game matters as far as where you're going to be when you go to that state tournament.
Yeah, and you talk about, you talked about where you're at. Today you've got a game coming up today as Grand Forks is in town at 2 o'clock, and then you got one at Dickinson, and then you've got Davies in town at Bismarck. And I guess, Tim, if there's any way that you want to finish your season up and to gauge maybe where your girls are at, Davies is probably not a bad opponent, huh?
It's been kind of odd that's been the way that it's shaken out these last few years, where our last game of the year has always been against Davies. And it's one of those where if you really want to battle test yourself for that state tournament, that's the game where it's going to be. And it's been that way for the last few years. It's been just a blast having that final game be against Fargo Davies. And you couldn't ask for more as far as like a lead up into the tournament.
Yeah, as we're talking with Tim Meyer, the head coach of the Bismarck Blizzard, and you talk about those standings, Tim. Davies obviously tough to catch at 16-0-0-0, and then you're at 10-1, 5-1, and then North South's in there at 9-3-1-2. Mandan 10-4-0-3, Minot 9-6-2-0. West Fargo 9-5-1-2. So this week's gonna really determine a lot of things as to, like you said, as where you're going to be seeded in that state tournament. Obviously, Davies appears that they're going to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, that's what I would. I'm not a mathematician, but that's what I would go with too. And the real hard thing is in my opinion, I don't know if the seedings are going to matter that much. I mean, we've played 1-0 games. We've had shootout games against Mandan, against Grand Forks, against Jamestown. So, I mean, once you get to the state tournament, it's an entirely different animal anyway. And really the regular season, I don't think is going to mean that much in terms of, who ends up at the tournament. Once you get there, it's going to be a whole new ball game, and it's really just going to be about a one-day battle. And whoever comes out of that one day then can look ahead to the next.
Yeah, as the Blizzard gets set to do battle today. And Tim, I want to talk to you about some recent developments as well. A young lady I'm sure that you know very well, Britta Curl and what she's done, and the unfortunate scenario that she was on her way over to Beijing, and lo and behold, guess who strikes again? It's that COVID word, and certainly a heartbreak for her. But Tim, what I want to ask you is just the success that she has had and what she has done and what she did for the Blizzard program. Has that really, do you think, has that really impacted a lot of the younger age of girls to want to get into the sport and maybe, let's just say it, try and become the next Britta Curl?
Certainly. I would honestly say that at least in my term as the head coach for the Blizzard, the Bismarck Blizzard are almost synonymous with Britta Curl. That's just kind of how we're recognized, is by the success that she's had. And needless to say, there's been so many other kids that have had such important roles on this team. But, Britta is one of those people that just has kind of shined and taken that spotlight. And you couldn't really ask for a better ambassador for your team or for your sport, because, as great of a hockey player as Britta is, she's just an even better person. Yep. So this whole double whammy of her not going to the Olympics is really a tough one. And, obviously I'm a pretty biased person, but if there was somebody I think that should be there, I definitely think it should be her.
Yeah, certainly, Tim, and what a great, ambassador, and certainly I'm sure that somebody that you have as a head coach that you can call on. If you need her to come in and maybe just talk to and deliver some sort of message to your girls or do whatever. I just think it's really nice to have something like that, expendable to you as a head coach.
Sure is. She was back over the holiday break and, came out and of all things, she's teaching our kids how to block shots. That's the kind of hockey player that Britta Curl is. Obviously, everybody gets recognized for their goals or for their highlight reels and stuff like that. But, one of those characteristics of a true hockey player, in my opinion, is willingness to kind of sacrifice the body and be able to absorb some pucks for your team. And that's the kind of person that she is. And, yeah, when she talks in front of the girls, it's all eyes on Beck. They're all ready to be, very, very aware of what she's saying, because you can understand how important it is.
Yeah, I'm sure, and just what a great ambassador. And I think, like you said, Tim, the thing about that the one thing that I'm sure she's able to portray is just she's a great hockey player, very talented hockey player. That's been proven, but just what she's able to do and the person that she is off of the ice as well.
Yeah, you can just look at this whole scenario that's going on right now for her. Obviously with being one of those final cuts, that hurt a lot. But the way that she carried herself through that, and the way that she is still, was just a down to earth type of a person, didn't seem to hold any grudges, anything like that. She gets that opportunity to go again, and now this whole COVID thing. I haven't talked to her since, but knowing Britta and the type of person she is, she's going to bounce right back, and she's going to come back and she'll make the most out of this one way or another. Yeah, no question about it. Well, Timmy, appreciate the time, my friend. Hey, best of luck to you this afternoon and the rest of the way out. And if we don't get a chance to talk to you, good luck up in Grand Forks, as folks back here certainly will be watching your success, all right? Thanks a lot, Woody. Appreciate it, man.
Hey,
we'll see you soon.
All right, buddy, you got to take care. Tim Meyer, the head coach of the Bismarck Blizzard, as they get set to do battle today against Grand Forks. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. When we come back, don't miss it. It's going to be an entertaining one, as we're going to talk some Bismarck State athletics. We're going to have Myron Schultz and the former coach of Bismarck State College track and field. Oh, yeah, that'll be a long time ago. We'll have Daryl Anderson join us as well. Back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we roll through another Saturday edition. Glad to have you aboard. Hey, if you're looking for a place to have some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu as Danny and the staff will take care of you up here today. Well, I guess it was back earlier this month. I mean, Mary comes out and announces something. Then here comes Bismarck State College, and you get a new athletic director up at Bismarck State College, and we're just going to add more sports to it. Why not? As Bismarck State College expands their athletics. And joining me right now this morning are Myron Schultz and Daryl Anderson. Good morning, fellas. Thanks for coming up this morning.
Hey, good morning, Woody. Good morning.
Well, let's see, Daryl. We got to give me a little test there.
I'm right here.
There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Well, Myron, I guess let's start with you. I mean, back on February 3rd, you guys came out and announced men's and women's cross country, men's and women's half marathon. Now, I have a question about that, as do a lot of the colleagues that I run around with. Men's and women's indoor track and field and men's and women's outdoor track and field. Those are self-explanatory. So is cross country. But talk to me about the half marathon. I mean, what is that? I certainly know it's two things that Claremont and I would not be interested in. Or one thing that Claremont and I would not be interested in is the half marathon. I mean, do you just go run half marathons?
Well, I know that because, like, in Nashville.
Pull your mic up. We'll turn you up a little bit.
I know Claremont was down in Nashville just walking around doing the UND hockey game down there, and he was pooped doing that. So I'm pretty sure he isn't going to run a half marathon. Yeah, it's kind of unique. It's I coached with Mike Thorson out at UMary, and that really wasn't an event. They had race walking and other obscure things, but they didn't have the half marathon. And it's going to get real interesting because they'll run half marathon events. I still got to do so. I got to figure out how they. If they can run like the Bismarck Crows and count that, or if they got it, I ain't the Crows anymore, but the Bismarck Marathon with the Larks are running that now. But it's if they can run that and count it, but they'd probably run a couple. You can't run too many of them. Daryl can talk more about that, but you probably run a couple half marathons and you get a good enough time, then you can go to regionals and nationals. But it's going to be unique. Here's the interesting thing is because it's not in NCAA, then you're going to see some very quality athletes. Like I remember coaching NEI track, and there was like Olympians from foreign or international countries, and they were over here training. And so they're going to be individual people that are really good in that event. They're going to come here for school, and they're going to be in those categories at this level.
And Myron, I guess I probably should ask you this first. I mean, talk about the process of this. When did this start? When did this whole process start about adding these three new products? I want to say on some of them bringing back is what I want to say. We'll get more on that with Daryl. But when did that whole process start?
Well, I started the end of August 24th, but it's bigger than that. It's Dr. Jensen, and Becky Collins, our C-suite people, our leaders. They have a vision of growing athletics. And then one thing is, I just look over my shoulder at my office, and I would see the bowl, and I go, we got the bowl and the aquatic center, which are the two greatest facilities around here.
Yep.
And then when they brought the bowl here and brought the state track meet here, the culture changed here. We're a track town now. When I was young, it wasn't as evident, but once that happened, it changed. So I'm going, we have this track complex right here. We've had it before, and there's one other big part of it. So it started August 24th, but it really was a vision even before the hiring. It was, let's try to grow sports. But the other big thing about track is we can go run at a meet in Dickinson or at UMary or at Minot, and we can turn our times and scores in and qualify for nationals. Where if you had a soccer team, then we got to go to Nebraska and Iowa and play those teams, and that becomes a little more cost prohibitive.
Yeah, well, and certainly when we talk about Bismarck State College, and you can go back to BJC where it was when Daryl, when you were there. Daryl, hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you.
And Daryl, obviously the when it comes to track and field and cross country in Bismarck, if nobody knows who Daryl Anderson is, then you've been in a hole or a man cave or somewhere for a number of years. But Daryl, you were the last coach to be up there, and I guess I'll ask you the question: when you saw this come out, how exciting was this for you?
I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of young boys and girls, men and women. To continue not just their education but their careers, because there's a lot of talent in this community, in this area, and I think it's pretty cool because that's how it kind of was successful back in the early mid '80s. Most of our kids were local, and a few that weren't were part of the football program, that Brent Tischer brought in, and so it was a good combo event to have some football and track at that time, so it worked out really well. And I'm real proud that they brought it back. A lot of places are trying to eliminate things, and so I think it's been real proactive, and I think that's I'm happy the school is doing that, and Myron being on board with it too.
And not only for you, I mean, you can attest. I mean, you went there, you competed there, and then you ended up coaching there. So for you, I mean, there's really kind of a strong tie to Bismarck State College over here for you.
Absolutely, and and it was I had a fun time here for 2 years back in the early mid '70s, and then I was at Bismarck High in 1980. I started there, and then but not in track originally.
Yep.
And so I had like nothing else to do in the spring, so but I took on cross country and track both. So I don't know how I stayed married, but maybe that's why I'm still married.
Yeah, that could be.
So we had a lot of fun. I mean, we qualified for some national events in both cross and track for a couple of years there, and it's still a good time. Still makes a person smile. There's a lot of stories that go with it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's some pretty good ones that go with that. I'm guessing, and you can go back any time when you can go back and involve Ed Kringsted being a part of it back when you were. That I know there's all kinds of stories. Knowing as well, I know Ed, and my dad knew Ed, and he was quite a character.
Oh man, his office was. We had Ted Hausauer from St. Mary's throwing up there, and he could throw in the mid 50s. And Ed's office was about at the 45-foot mark. And I went out for a run one day, and I came back, and the place was just a panic. I've never seen cats run. But I think he may have been to the hospital before the ambulance. Of course, he might have stopped at a few drive-thrus on the way. But,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, and that's when Ed walked out of the office, and the shot was midair, and it caught Ed in the jaw, spun him around and dropped him, and Ted was just Ted was highly upset, but that's when I first realized that Ed wore a toupee and false teeth, because they were everywhere. So, but he survived okay.
Yeah, you got to love those stories. And I think, Daryl, you go back to what you said, and Myron, you can jump in too. Is the last couple of years that I've been a part of the state track meet, and helping with doing that, and boy, when you're down on the field like I have been, and you look and and you see all these schools from Class A to Class B, and maybe you're not, I'm not attending all these tribes, but when you're there, I mean, you go, oh my God. I mean, there are some athletic kids in the state of North Dakota, and certainly when you look at that and what you're doing here, it gives those kids and I'm going to use from maybe smaller communities, that an opportunity to stay close to home, continue their career, and then maybe move on to a higher level. And I just think it's a great deal.
We had, Al Beckert was from Dickinson, and he played football, he played baseball, and the facilities were a problem. All they let us do really was hang ropes from the rafters, and Al would lift, but he'd do a lot of inverted rope climbs. Feet first, and strong as heck. But we got him into the national indoor pole vault. I'm not exactly sure how he qualified, but we got him in. But the opening height was like 13:10, and Al goes, "Should I jump?" And I said, "Well, you didn't come here to eat, so yeah, you're going to jump." So he made it on his third attempt, and the bar goes to 13:9. He makes it on his third attempt, goes to 14:3, makes on his third attempt, goes to 14:6. I go, "Al, are you tired?" And he goes, "Well, pretty much." The rest of the field, most of them hadn't even come in yet. And one of his buddies from Dickinson had gone 17 feet indoors, and he was down at another college down south, and so they met up because they were teammates at Dickinson High School. But anyway, long story short, he gets up to 15:3. He takes 15 attempts already, and he gets to 15:3, and he makes it on his first attempt. And he's actually the leader because some of the other guys that opened up missed. Now he ended up getting third overall in his, but just phenomenal story. I mean, the kid was just so competitive, and he had the shortest runway. I mean, because he'd never been farther than anything he had at the Armory isn't going to be more than basketball length. So. Yeah, I mean, he just, he adjusted, and those are great stories. And
more to that story is we called him Aggie, Al Beckert, and but he also played safety on the football team. And while he was doing that, he was the shortstop on our baseball team that was one out away from beating Anoka Ramsey to go to regionals and nationals too. So. Aggie was the man, but it gives him a place to play. And we had a neat thing with what you were alluding to is even Carl Lewis reached out on our social media saying, "Hey, thanks for bringing back track and congratulations to you guys because some of the other people are getting rid of it." So, and I just think it's opportunities for like you said to continue their careers. It's pragmatic. The nation thing about college debt, and one thing about Bismarck State College is it is affordable. So it's a great chance to come here and get an affordable degree, keep competing, and people like even Rich Karlgaard, who's the CEO of Forbes, ran with Daryl Anderson here. So it's going to be a catalyst for your future.
So when you look at this, Myron, and obviously when you this comes out, and I'm sure you're already in the process, is you got to find a head coach, and I mean, is that something that is it? Is it 4 head coaches? Is it 2 head coaches? Is it 1 head coach? And is then maybe the interim new head coach sitting to my right over here? Or I don't know. Is he coming back out? Or maybe you can't say right now. I don't know. But, I mean.
Tom Brady said never say never.
Well, it's really interesting. First off, I want to thank Mike Thorson. So Mike Thorson was in my ear and consulted us all semester. I've been talking to Daryl Anderson all semester. And so we're going to have 1 head coach position. And then there'll be 3 assistant positions. So it's kind of like the model I was used to when I coached with Thorson at UMary. So, and then we got to, but now that's the next step. We got to, Coach Thorson's been, we put it out on the United States Track Coaches Association website, and Coach Thorson's been kind of talking to people all year, but it just got posted like last Thursday. So that process is going to happen, and it's got to happen. Hopefully, it can happen fairly quickly because students are actually making their decisions for next year. But your last thing is I was talking to Daryl today, and there was a little twinkle in the ear. There'll be another conversation on that this week.
And Lars Smink, he was a national champion in indoor 1,000. So, I mean, and then Mark Ennessier was an All-American in the 800. So we did have some success for a couple of years, but you going to let Carl sing the national anthem?
Someone sent me that right away, and I didn't know about it.
I mean, what is? And I guess Daryl, I'll ask you this from a former high school coach's perspective. I mean, what does this opportunity entail for some of these kids? I mean, that and I don't know, some of these, if you're really, really good at track and field, I mean, you're getting looks from NDSU, you're getting looks from, Augie or South Dakota State or, maybe at the D1 level. But if you're in that middle of the pack or whatever, I mean, maybe you're Dickinson. I mean, what does this do for these kids from a coach's perspective?
Well, I think it gives them some exposure. If they're not quite ready for that next level, this is perfect, junior college level. They'll get a chance to compete against all these guys in races anyway, because there's so much of these meets and stuff are combination of, opportunities for whatever level. So I think that's what it does. It opens the door. Maybe they're not ready for UMary right away, but they will be in another year or two. So, if they still are into it and get better, I think, it's just another opportunity. That and get their basics here, their education. Perhaps it's, something they're going to go in the technical field and gives them a chance to compete, before they go work. And maybe not want to compete to the next level after that. So it is pretty cool that way.
Yeah, and I think the one thing is we're talking with Myron Schultz, athletic director at Bismarck State College, and former Bismarck High Demon coach Daryl Anderson. And I think the one thing that when you look at Bismarck State College, and, it's so funny when you talk to some of these young kids around here nowadays, and they're like, oh, why do I want to go to Bismarck State College, and blah, 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 blah. You get that. But I think if you start laying things out and you go back and you go back in the time, I know when I was growing up, and you look at the success that some of these that some of these people that have had that you talked about, Lars, and that coming out of Bismarck State College, and you go back to Steve Stacy. Steve Stacy goes to Bismarck State College and goes to be an All-American, then NSU on the basketball floor. Messiah Jury comes here. Messiah Jersey, the GM of the Toronto Raptors. Brock Lesnar, look what Brock Lesnar did. I mean, hey, that's a path. I mean, it's a damn good path in my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's exciting for those kids, and I think it takes a little bit of pressure off them. They have a chance to work at their skill and their talent and get better, train, compete, just, not have the pressure of not succeeding right away.
And, Woody, that's our vision totally. Is we want to, at a junior college level, we want to be a launching pad. We want people to come here, have success, and get noticed and go on. And we just had a baseball player sign with Wichita State Division I, and we had another kid that signed at Crookston this week. So we want to be a launch pad. We want to be a launch pad for coaches too. Come here and get that recruiting experience, prove that you can do it, and then you can go on also. So but also Daryl had a great point. It's some people are going to come here. Like we had a volleyball player that came here, wanted to just get her AA degree and move on, but she found her scenography major. That's what she's going to go into now. So when she leaves here, she's going to leave her debt free, and she's going to go into her career.
Yeah, and Myron, when you look at this too, I guess I'll ask you the question. You probably can't answer it. I mean, is there more to come?
Well, yeah, I hope so. It's got to be the right fit, and some of the factors is who can you compete against. Because like right now, even like soccer, the Mondac Conference, none of the junior colleges in the area have it. So therefore, there's no one to play.
Yep.
Same thing with you can take any sport after that. The other limiting factor a little bit is facilities. We're kind of busting at the seams already. If we could, get maybe a new facility, that would open up some new doors. So, yeah, we have visions and dreams and hopes, and we're going to be hustling, but it's going to come with those factors a little bit.
Yeah, we were in the NDCAC back then, so we had Jamestown College, Minot State, Dickinson, Wapton, Lake Region.
Exactly.
They were all part of it. And then in cross country, it was Region 13, which we shared with Wapton, Lake Region, Minnesota, and then all the way down to Nebraska. They had a lot of junior college schools. So that's how that level,
and I guess that leads me into, when you look at this, when you read the press release that was out, and you look at men's and women's cross country D2, half marathon D1, men's and women's indoor track and field D1, men's and women's outdoor track and field D1. I don't know. Explain what that means to a lot of people, because they look at D1 and they go, oh, whoa, D1. I mean, whoa. No, explain what that level of it is at that junior college level.
And why we chose those levels is we wanted to align with the schools in our region. So right now it's Dawson Community College of Glendive offers both cross country and track. And the only other school in our region is called Bay College, and I think they're in Wisconsin, maybe Michigan, but Bay College out there. So there's not a lot of schools in our region that have the sport. So D1 in NJCAA means that you could get a full ride. So you could give somebody a whole boat to go to school. D2 means the most anybody could ever get is tuition and fees. And then D3 means that you receive no scholarship. So it's almost kind of aligns with the NCAA. It's just it's all happening at one level. So, so I know like right now, like Wahpeton's football team's D3. So those students have no scholarships. Our volleyball and baseball and softball are D2. So most anyone could ever get is tuition. And then our basketball in the Mondac right now is D1. So those athletes could get a full ride.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, very interesting as to what's going on, and I think it's I don't know. I guess having been around here and my whole life and just seeing what Bismarck State offered back in the day. I remember I vaguely remember when there was a football team up there and obviously Darryl, I'm sure you do as well. And I just think it's and you see now what Mary's doing now and their vision campaign and bringing things back. And I just think that I like all the excitement of all of the opportunities that are being presented to the young people and trying to keep these kids in the state of North Dakota. I mean, whether it's Bismarck State College or Jamestown or Dickinson, Mary or whatever it is, but here's just another opportunity for some of these kids locally, Bismarck, Mandan, in their own backyard.
Yeah, Ed Hash cared a lot about football,
absolutely,
and cross country and track. As Ed Krinkstead cared a lot about all athletics, including wrestling, obviously. And Rocky Stavin was a coach up there for a little while. So I mean, they've always had people that cared a great deal about not just the sport, but those that they want to have participate in it. To answer your question, just a little bit about like a half marathon, the course has to be certified. So sanctioned and certified, so to speak. So if that happens, those times would be valid. So to certify a course, that's up to the race organizers, and that's an easy find out because that's how that works.
And then at that level, Myron, then
keep it legit.
When you talk about the half marathon, then when if that course is certified and that course they can run that, and then do they go somewhere? I mean, is there as a time? I mean, is there a national tournament? I mean, is there a national half marathon where you can become an All-American or whatever that terminology may or may not be?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like the top runners in the region will qualify for nationals, and then there might actually be a national standard also. But yeah, I think that's going to be interesting for me is you have they're called LOIs, letter of intent. So you can have 10 people that receive money to be on your men's or women's cross country half marathon team. But a cross country team scores 5 people, and you probably want to have a couple extra in case someone got shin splints that week. So you probably need seven of your people probably got to be in cross country. So how many people will you roster? Because you're not going to. Daryl's got to answer this again, but you're not going to probably dual train because cross country is like a 2.5 mile race, and you're training for a 13.1 mile race. I didn't get good grades in kinesiology and anatomy and phys, but they're a little bit different energy systems. I mean, at that point in that training, so you're probably going to have a couple athletes really going after that half marathon, and the other one's going after that cross country. So, but yeah, you can be national champion, be All-American, you can be region leaders. It's going to be its own event, and it's kind of like a second event in cross country is kind of how I view it.
And track and cross were dropped back then when football dropped, and so they were kind of together. So that's what ended it back in the mid '80s. But I'm glad it's back.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. And like you said, when you talk about facilities, I mean, we've got a lot of great facilities, but it might be time for another one. I mean, I never thought that we would say that, but when the vision came up for the bowl and you move the state track meet here, and I don't think anybody in their right mind will tell you they want that state track meet anywhere other than this place because of how it is. But maybe we got to have another one. I don't know.
There's more opportunities now to compete even indoors with all the facilities and area colleges, so that's improved greatly. And down the road, that'll be a big step for BSC is to create perhaps improvements on the basketball facility and maybe something.
Yep.
Along with that, that'll affect track. So I think that's a big positive to create increase in numbers here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of it's just creative coaches. Daryl Anderson told me his stories. He said they have a big, long, wide hallway in the Votech building, and they would use that for some training.
Yeah.
Then there's you talked about Frayne Barracks Road. Mike Thorson used to get out all winter long and shovel 440 inside lane. Nope, he'd always go in a little sweat jacket, and he would kept it. So there's a will, there's a way, but obviously you want to make it as convenient as possible.
Yeah, and I think for you, Myron, too, I mean, it's great to have guys like Daryl and Mike in your back pocket that can certainly when you start talking about that, I mean, they forgot more about the sport than you and I will ever know about it. And to have those guys helping you along certainly is going to make that transition and this whole thing a lot easier. So I think that's a great asset to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been
the
other thing too is it's fun. Like he's already given me several ideas. Like okay, that's what we could do. And he's even helped us. He's looking for a warehouse that we could throw shot put in.
Yeah,
so it's great. And then Mike, as a new AD, I got a lot of things coming on my plate. And the one thing Thorson did, he just called me routinely and made sure that we stayed on track with this and it didn't get buried in a file somewhere.
Yeah, well, no, certainly it's exciting news and great. And I appreciate you guys coming up here. I'll be on the lookout for that new press release naming him as your new head track and field cross country coach and get him back into doing something.
Okay, so wrong.
No, I'm just kidding. But appreciate it, Myron. It's exciting. We'll talk more about it as we get closer. The coach and everything like that. Daryl, always enjoy talking to you. By the way, 2 great trivia questions you sent me the other day. I love them both. They're in my hip pocket. So those will get pulled out at some time as well, too.
Well, I'm, between Legacy, Century, St. Mary's, Bismarck, Mandan, Shiloh, I think it's an awesome avenue of, chance for some kids to look at another opportunity if that's what they get into, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's fun. Appreciate you guys coming up.
Thank you.
All right, you got it. Myron Schultz, Daryl Anderson, exciting things happening at Bismarck State College. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll talk with the head coach, the UMary football team, Craig Bagnell, back with more after this timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
This broadcast presentation on the PSP Network is brought to you by BNC National Bank, Planning Team Financial, Sport Clips, Tires Plus, Bismarck LASIK, First Western Bank and Trust, Jobbers Moving and Storage, The Medicine Shop, Hub International Insurance, The Chuppy Clinic, and Prairie Rose Family Dentists.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
If your eyes could talk, they'd tell you life is better with LASIK. No more reaching for your glasses. No more dry eye from overwearing your contact lenses. Right now, Bismarck LASIK is offering free consultations for LASIK procedures. Break free from the daily hassles and expenses of glasses and contacts. Life is clearly better. Book your free consultation today with Bismarck LASIK and see the difference. Call 222-2020 or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Whether you're looking for a full-service stadium and Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard here on the PSP Network as we near the end of another show on Saturday morning. Glad to have you aboard again on the PSP Network. Lots of things coming up on the PSP Network. Got high school basketball, pretty much full swing coming through into mid-March. But, hey, if you're looking for a place this afternoon to grab some lunch and make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon, lots of TVs, full-service menus, Danny and the staff will be here to take care of you. Well, it was National Signing Day about a week or so ago, and the University of Mary added 33 student-athletes to their football roster, and joining me on the line right now is their head coach, Craig Bagnell. Coach, good morning. How are you this morning?
Morning, Scott. Doing well.
Well, you got through the signing period. Maybe take a little bit of a break, or maybe not, right, Coach?
6 a.m. workouts and player meetings and getting ready for spring ball. So there's no break. The staff does have the next couple weekends off, so that is nice. First weekends off since probably Christmas.
Well, 33 commitments, 4 of them transfers, 29 are high school scholar athletes. You look at the breakdown, you got 6 right here out of the home state of North Dakota, 6 out of Arizona, California, Colorado. You got 2, Colorado, Hawaii, and Iowa 1, Minnesota 5, Montana 2, Nebraska 1, Nevada 4, South Dakota 3, Wisconsin 1. Boy, I tell you what, quite a little mismatch there of states. You did a pretty good job getting into all these states, Coach.
A lot of windshield time, but no, the staff did a great job, and evaluating the guys and finding the guys that were the right fit for us, and the guys that we're bringing in, we feel really love the game. They love to play football. They love to train. They're excited about the challenge in terms of what they're going to have to do in the weight room, and how we evaluate them, from runs to lifts to practice, and the guys are all excited for it. So we recruit the entire Midwest, and we use those Allegiant flights for Phoenix and Vegas, which have been great for us. And so it's a long period. We're already this week we're started on 2023 recruiting. So that whole process starts over, but it's good. We're excited about the group and excited to get them here.
Yeah, and when you look at the group, Craig, it appears to me that maybe there was a little bit more of a heavy focus on the defensive side, 7 D linemen, 5 linebackers, and 5 D-backs. I mean, now granted, you got 6 wideouts and 4 running backs. But was that your primary focus going into this recruiting class? Was the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, and it's the whole COVID year. Everybody thought it just is going to affect the 2021 signing class. Well, that's not how it works, because every college football team this year had 2 freshman classes.
Right.
So it's definitely something that you have to really project more than anything in terms of where guys are going to be a couple years down the road, where your roster is going to be a couple years down the road. And for us, we felt that it was necessary for us to put more, invest more into, positional depth in certain groups. And that was the big thing for us. And looking down the road a couple years, we felt those areas were going to be necessary for us to build that depth with what we have currently. And there's obviously uniqueness of, you got guys that are finishing their degrees and they still have 2 years of eligibility left, and so there's that process too. But O linemen, we've got 16 O linemen in the program right now. So we don't need to bring in 6 or 7 O linemen, because I always want to have about 18, 19 O linemen in our program. So we're already there, and a lot of those kids are young guys. I mean, we're only going to have 1 senior offensive lineman next year. So it's definitely something where you look at the depth and where you're going to be a year, 2 years from now. And that was kind of our focus.
Yeah, as we're talking with Craig Bagnell, the head football coach at the University of Mary, and Craig, maybe since we're in North Dakota, I mean, you can get us really across the world, but maybe touch on a few of those kids that you pulled out of North Dakota.
Yeah, the guy from here in town, Ben Mansmith, the linebacker from Century, is he's an athletic kid. He can run. He's physical. He's long too. He's got some length to him. He's a 6'2" kid, and he's got long arms. He's about 190 pounds now, but he's going to be like a 230-pound inside linebacker. But he's physical, and he likes the game, and he's excited for the challenge, and he's excited to stay here in town. Jacob Frickey's a kid from up at Bishop Ryan. Jacob's almost 6'4". He's 218. He's going to be 260 pounds in 2 years. He's got a great frame on him, and excited to get him down here. Lane, from up in Divide County. He's another, bigger kid. He's 6'4". He's like 210 right now. Well, he's going to be a 245-pound tight end here pretty quick. And, he played a little quarterback in high school too. So he's a smart kid and can do things. So, and then up the road, it's kind of sweet. Played football with Grant Singer. He's a 2-time All-American here, and he ended up coaching one of our kids this year, East Prey, out of the Underwood and Central McLean area. And Easton's, you turn on his highlight tape, and you can see some kids maybe kind of diving at the ankles out of the way because they don't really want to take him head on. Because Easton's a big kid, man. He's a 6-foot kid that's 200 pounds, and he's going to run you over, and he's physical, and excited to bring him in. And Caleb Rist is a kid from Delax, and he's an athlete. He could probably play a couple different spots, and signed 4 running backs because looking 2 years down the road, we're going to lose a couple guys, and the other part of it is those guys got to be able to play special teams and create depth that way. And Caleb's a kid that can add depth with the special teams. He can play some tailback. He can probably mix in and play a little slot hit there a little bit too. So just trying to bring in guys that are also going to contribute in multiple different ways, not just specifically. Obviously, bringing an old lineman to be an old lineman. You bring in a quarterback usually to be a quarterback, but there's other guys in this group that they could probably play multiple different spots, and it's just going to be where they're going to be looking when they're 2 years down the road.
Yeah, and you talk about quarterback, Craig, and you feel pretty good at that spot. As I see you went out and just brought in 1 QB. I mean, what is what's the quarterback room going to look like this spring for you, Mary?
Well, Logan Nelson's got another year.
Yep.
So that's obviously exciting, and Logan's excited to come back and play another year. So we'll have Logan, and we got Jesse Fork now, who was his backup last year that did a good job and came in and played well when he got in the games. And then Avery Gould will be another guy that was a backup for us last year. That's going to be a senior, and then we have Raphael Hamilton, Rafe, 6'4" kid out of Iowa. It's about 225 pounds right now. He kind of looks like Logan. And then Jaden Hansel, kind of unique. His dad went to school here. He's got family in the area, but he's from Valley Christian down in Arizona. And both of those guys are freshmen for us. And then the one kid we signed was Nquavion, Quay, what he goes by, but Mr. Willis is a bright kid, 4.2 student, pre-law, almost 6'3". He's about 202 right now. He's a put together kid, and he can spin it. So it's a good room. I'm excited about the room. I'm excited about the group we have, and excited to see these guys compete and develop this spring, and then get Quay in here this summer and start working with him. So he's excited, and he's a talented kid.
Yeah, and overall, Coach, overall, I by the sounds of by the way you're talking, I think you and your staff had to give yourself a pat on the back, had to feel pretty proud of what you guys were able to bring into the University of Mary this year.
Yeah, there's some kids, Josh, big Josh, man, the kid's he's great. He was so fired up to be a part of this and commit, but you shake Josh's hand, and he's 6'4", 280 pounds as a high school kid from Vegas. And you shake his hand, and you feel like a 3-year-old kid. Like, first time I shook his hand, I was like, oh my gosh. But he's gonna be a big dude in the middle and adding depth with Ian and Taylor and some of the guys in the program right now that are already kind of that size. I mean, Josh is going to come in that size, where Ian's kind of worked himself up to that after his freshman year. But there's a really good group of kids. We're excited. The thing that I spent a lot of time in December doing was driving around and trying to scare kids off. I was probably telling them it was harder than it was. But the kids that we've got in are, they're committed. They're excited. They're excited to work. They know that we're going to tell them the truth. We tell them, hey, there's days you're not going to like me, man. There's days you're not going to like our strength coach, but you're going to have to get over it, and you're going to have to deal with the fact, we'll be honest with you. But the guys were excited to be a part of that, and the staff did a really good job of identifying those type of kids and getting those guys on campus and obviously showing them what we have.
Yeah, certainly. We got a few minutes left with Craig Bagnell, the head football coach at Mary. And Coach, I want to switch directions with you a little bit. And we had a chance earlier this morning to talk to Jerome Richter about the new campaign that's underway out there. And he brought up a little something about two guys Danny Kittner and Luke Little. I mean, are these guys are these guys Luke Little, I guess, a Century kid? Are they getting some looks on the NFL side of things?
Yeah, so Luke was at a combine workout and the Gridiron Bowl in January. Luke has got about half the NFL teams looking. It's about 15 teams looking at him right now. The Browns are pretty interested. The Colts are interested. So he has he's going to have an opportunity. So we're trying to get his pro day set up over in Fargo and have him go work out over there for his pro day. Some of the Viking scouts and Chicago scouts, you kind of got to get invited in by those scouts. And so he'll be getting ready for his pro day, and he's going to have a shot. And then the two guys we have right now, Danny Kittner and Logan Nelson, there's going to be about every single NFL team walking through our building this spring to interview Danny, interview Logan, watch them work out, and watch them practice. So obviously exciting news. We just found out the NCAA released the statistical categories and leaders for the year just a couple days ago, and Danny Kittner led the NCAA in yards and catches for the year, and we had the number one passing offense in Division II across the country. And so a lot of exciting things happening. Obviously the announcement of the new facilities and the things coming and the campaign, and they're rolling. So it's exciting times, and we're excited to have the group we have coming back, because we only lost one guy on offense this last year. Yeah, certainly, Coach. And I remember talking to you, when you first took this job, and now it's a situation of, hey, these are your guys. I mean, majority of them are your guys now, and anytime you get this kind of guys like Luke Little and Kittner and Nelson. Even getting talked about for the opportunity at that level, Coach, I mean, that's just a true testament of what you and your staff have done out at the University of Mary. Yeah, guys have worked hard, and the guys that were in the program that stuck with us, and it was a little different for them, challenged them a little differently, and they've stuck with us, and they've really developed. I mean, Logan was a triple option quarterback, and now he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And Danny came in and played as a true freshman, and now he's growing up. He's getting a beard, he's getting older, and it's the rest of the guys. So, yeah, when we got here, we knew it was going to be interesting. We knew it was going to be a challenge, but as long as we just, stayed true to ourselves and stuck to it, we know that there'd come a point where, we'd start turning the corner, and we've done that. We got to get over the hump. Lost 3 games in the fourth quarter in the last minute or two, and so that's the guys' motivation right now, and that's what's pushing them a little bit harder and a little bit more this winter. And they've been doing a great job. And we had 38 guys deadlift over 500 pounds about a week and a half ago, and I think when I first got here, I think Coach Silby told me our number was like 14. So guys are getting bigger, they're getting stronger, and they're ready to roll. Oh, that's awesome, Coach. And again, I think the key there is exciting times out at the University of Mary with everything that's going on. And again, a true testament to what you guys have done. So certainly looking forward to next year. We'll talk again more, hopefully when spring ball rolls around. But, hey, keep up the great work, my friend, and we'll talk again soon, all right? Sounds good, Scott. Enjoy the Super Bowl weekend. Yeah, you too. Who you got? I got to ask you, football guy. Who you got? I mean, you got Cool Joe, or what do you got here? Cool Joe, or you got the Rams? It's really hard to go against Stafford right now, though. It's hard to go against Cool Joe, but the Titans got after him like 9 times, and I think Aaron Donald might have a little bit of a heyday if they're not careful. Yeah, I think you're right. We were talking about that this morning. I think Aaron Donald's one of those guys. I think he's gonna have a hard time sleeping tonight, because I think he's probably he's just like a caged animal right now and cannot wait to get to the field. But I think you're right. I think he's going to be the key in that football game tomorrow. I'm really glad I do not have to game plan for a guy like that right now. Coach, hey, man, have a great rest of the weekend. We'll talk again soon, all right? You too, Scott. All right, you bet. Take care. Craig Bagnell, head coach of the University of Mary, as certainly an exciting times going on out there. Well, we can tell you here on the PSP Network coming up today, there's going to be Jamestown and Minot basketball, continuing coverage of the District 12 basketball tournament.
And then we roll into next week coming up. We're going to have some basketball for you coming up on Tuesday locally. As lots of things. Also, we want to announce that we are going to have the West Region Basketball Tournament. We'll have audio and video of that. Exciting news coming down this last week for us here at the PSP Network. Also, Region 6 girls basketball. We'll have Region 5 and 6 boys basketball. We're going to have state hockey. So lots of things coming up for you. Right here on the PSP Network, and we're certainly excited to bring those to you. Particularly, it's going to be a busy March, starting with the state Class B State B girls basketball tournament. We'll have audio for you on that one. So certainly. Check us out, psp.network. Go out there, like and follow us on all the social media platforms, as lots of big things coming down right here on the PSP Network. Want to thank all of our guests this morning, Leif Olson, Jerome Richter, also to Jordan Carlson, Tim Meyer, Myron Schultz, and Daryl Anderson, and also to Craig Bagnell joining us this morning. That's going to do it for another edition of Overtime. So again, hope you enjoyed that today. Hopefully next week we got all our technical difficulties figured out, and we'll be back right on with you live at 10 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow. Until next time, Scott Woodmansee saying so long from the Stadium Lodge.
This has been a presentation of the PSP Network. We thank you for listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, live from the stadium. Make sure to head to the social media platforms for the PSP Network to like and follow, to stay up to date with all things sports in Western North Dakota. PSP Network, it's game day.